no tuerto. It means one ear, one eye deer.
One-eyed deer.
Yeah. It's funny. One eye deer. So, well, thank you for coming and thank you for sharing these 2 days I've been here. I've learned a lot from everyone. And, well, I think I've come to share my perspective of what I remember from what Buckminster also said. This is the first time I've heard about him, and I learned about him, and I really appreciate that, because what he said, what he was working with, it was really close to what I know, and he did it through philosophy and study, and I had the opportunity to remember it. First of all, I will apologize in case I don't know words in English to explain that, because I used to explain all this in Spanish, so maybe I will ask you in Spanish to help me. if you know it. If you know something in Spanish. So I will try to do my best in English. So first of all, everything that I can explain of what I know is due to my memories. Once, when I was a child in this life, I remember something that my grandfather in other life told me, which was, we are only memories of the universe, living memories of the universe. So that makes me sense right now, because all I'm doing now is to remember the idea of who we are in the universe. So we are all living through our memories of who we think we are. So it kind of explains that we are living memories, that the universe is like a mind trying to remember who it is. So we are now helping this universe to remember who it can be, who it can become. So as I said, as an introduce, since I have memory in this life, I could remember and feel everything that I have done before I was born. And of course, the only person I talked to about this was my mom. And I was born in a house where everyone was agnostic, no religion, no beliefs, only sometimes science, but that's it. And I just start to talk about beings in other dimensions and other civilizations and really weird stuff for them. But they thought I had a really good imagination, so they let me go. They say, "Oh, that's funny what you said." So as I grew up, when I was 11, 12 years old, I started to have big headaches every day until I was 18, 17 years old. Every day, in those headaches, I was able to remember not only what I've done in other lives or other times, but also what I've done in between them and before I was born for the first time in Malta. So I was able to remember things about creation, things about reality that I couldn't explain because it was so difficult for me without study to try to explain what I saw. So the stories of this grandfather I had 12,000 years ago helped me to translate in emotions everything I was remembering in this life from the universe. So that's why I used to speak about the stories I learned 2,000 years ago in a colony of Atlantis in Egypt. Egypt didn't exist at that moment, but we were a colony in that moment. So everything that I remember, and when I was 17 years old and then 18 years old, I was trying to explain to others, and of course at school it was like weird because nobody understood that, but some people did, and they half of them were saying that I had schizophrenia, of course, who don't. So most of them thought I had a schizophrenia, but the other 50% of the people were interested in what I was explaining, because they had studied about that their whole life. Psychologists, a professor from college. I was 12 years old, and I was explaining them things that they had written their whole life. So through my memories. So they helped me to understand that I was not crazy, that I was just disorganized, and that I had to put order in my mind through questions. So I started to answer questions to my friends. We were just hanging out, and they were asking stuff of the universe, and it helped me to organize my mind through all these memories. And as the years passed, I was able to understand my purpose, and people started to ask me about what to do with my memories. So the thing was that I started to be defined as a rememberer. And as I said, we are memories from the universe, the living memories. So I start to talk about my memories, and most of the people start to call me like a rememberer. And I suddenly understood that remember, through what I had the opportunity to remember, has three meanings. In English, we can talk about just two, but if we talk in Spanish, there's three meanings that coming from the Latin. I will explain. The first meaning of remembering is the common memory that we have, which is remembering things from the past, bringing past to the present, trying to understand what happened, to remember what happened in other times in history, whatever. So this verb, remembering, helps us to put order in our history. So what I started to do was try to help people to understand the history of humanity, the hidden history of humanity, and the history of the universe, what I remember from that. But suddenly I realized that remember doesn't come from the verb bringing the past to the present. Remember comes from the verb remember, which is to put the members together. What does it mean? When you have no idea about something, what is happening now, you have to understand that this is happening because of this, that, and that, and that, and that. Yeah? So it's not only past, it's separate items that you need to put together to understand. So remember was to put all the members together, to reunite the different concepts. So I realized that what I was doing was not just remembering the past, but also the future and the present. Because for the universe, present, future, and past are the same thing. Not like us. We live in a mental way of thinking that we are going forward and we are living the past. But this is because we have our two eyes in front. So we had time in front of us, but believing that the future is something that is coming because it's ahead, because we see ahead. But for many ancient cultures, the future was behind. And why is that? Because I don't know the future. I can only know the past. So I can see the path I've done, but I have no idea what is happening after that. So the future was behind, holding us to, and pushing us towards, so backwards. So in this concept of time, it was not just being in the present and trying to understand the past, it was also to understand the present through the ideas in the future, in the present, and the past. Like if we are in a kind of a web. So put all the members together. And the third one, you don't have it in English. The third one comes from Latin, which is recordis. In Spanish is recordar, the verb remember. But that verb in Latin, recordis, comes from going back to the heart. Yeah? So once you remember what you have done in the past, you try to understand every item you have around in the future, present, and past, in high, depth, and wide, all around, space and time. And you make sense of all of it, and you bring it all to the meaning. And the meaning is in the heart. So you understand yourself. So that's why remember has three goals. So remember the past, to put the members together, and to bring them all to the heart, to the core of the reality, which is the self. So these three meanings of the verb help me to understand that my mission in this life is to help people to answer the question from the past, from where we come from, to try to understand the reality, what are the different parts that create the reality, and to let people remember that the only way you can do that is by going to the self. So taking this in account, when I was 12 years old, I started to remember, for me, the most meaningful life of all, which was 12,000 years ago in the River Nile. No Egypt existed. There was only one pyramid at that time. And we were a colony from the civilization that I call Hephaestion, that you may know as Atlantis. This civilization was a civilization that was meant to be the one to remember the idea of why we are a planet that is alive, why we are here, why do we exist, and how can we become creators. So that civilization realized that everything that exists is not real. It's just an idea that is vibrating in the pulse of the universe. Anything is matter. Matter is just a concept that is such a good idea that you can feel it, but it's not real. So, so what they knew is that all this idea had patterns. So you can find the patterns through the creation, and if you find the specific patterns that creates everything, you will know the keys to open the realities and to go through time and space and to become creators of reality. So what they did was try to find out where and how open those portals with those keys. They first had to find the keys, and the keys were hidden in our reality, all over the reality. They figured out that if the creator was only one thought in the beginning of the universe. So there shouldn't be many keys. There should be just 3 or 4. It should be easy to open the portals to the Creator. So, because for the universe, we see the complexity of the universe, but the Creator is so simple to understand that it shouldn't be so difficult to create. So, the concept was, as easier is the concept, the fastest you get to the clue of how to open the portals to creation. So you have to find the most easy shape in the universe, the most easy key in the universe, and that key will open all the doors through time and space. So that civilization was built to look for that key and to look for that doors to the creation. So we were told at that time histories to help us remember why we existed, what was our goal, and our whole civilization was about to prepare people to become gods and goddesses. Because we knew that if the universe was just one idea, one thought, so we are the reflection of that idea. So we are not something separate from the divine. We are the divine thinking itself. So we had this story, that used to say that the beginning of everything was the void, the vacuum. There was nothing, but this nothing was a meditation. Like if the consciousness of the universe was stood for a moment, like in a big meditation. And that meditation was like a dream. So we used to say that that void has 3 dreams. That 3 dreams we call the inspiration, contemplation, which is holding the breath, and then exhalation. So the only thing that existed in the universe was this movement. All the time. The breathing, once and again, that breath. And suddenly when it started to express itself, when it started to exhale the vibration from itself, it created the sound of breathing. And that sound of breathing became a rhythm. The rhythm became a cause. And that cause created the energy. And that energy created a singing. And by that song, the universe awoke. So this being awoke its consciousness and started to project the self from within outside. And when it did that, it started to reflect the very first key of the universe in many thousands of other keys, like projected from the self in a mirror. So this projection helped the universe to create all the variety we have in the creation, but all started with just a little concept. So once you have worked in this concept, you are able to open the doors through time and space. So what this story told us at that time was that that the whole creation started just with a thought, and that thought started to project into, so the being who knew everything within could experience the everything outside. Because as I told the other day, we used to say that the universe was like the mind of a kid who was willing to play, to find out, and that he has all these tools around, like all these books and all this truth that it knows from itself, and suddenly it has to think about is this all I know truth? Is everything that I know for myself truth? So I have to experience that truth so I could realize if everything that I know is true or not. So the being, the consciousness, started to project those books into the creation so we could experience the creation, the truth. So in this projection of creation, we started to split the self in many. And this is a story of us, the being, trying to understand himself. So, to make it simple, we started in the void with all the knowledge, all the wisdom within, understanding that we are just one particle in the whole universe, which is vibrating by consciousness, by thinking. Everything that exists is just a spot in the universe that is vibrating. And this vibration that creates a wave in the universe starts to create the movement, the vibration, the rhythm in the universe, and it starts to fill up the whole not space, but the whole mind of the universe with these waves of vibration. And once it goes very far away from the self, it starts to create the energy of positive and negative. This self projects the reality that he knows outside so he could see it. So it creates the positive, which is everything that is outside. But always everything that is outside will pull you within. By the other side, by the other force, which is the negative. The negative, the energy of negative, will pull you towards within, and the positive will pull you towards outside. This reality will be the duality that helps us to create, by magnetism, all the reality around. So this awareness, this consciousness, starts to create a duality so it could see the different possibilities of itself. So he says, I know everything. So how it is to don't know anything? You know, so by that it starts to create a movement in which the question and doubt will be the key to understand itself all the time, once and again, from positive to negative. We, as spiritual beings, start to call this purpose and this the mission. Everyone in the universe has a purpose, but the purpose itself is not God or the core of the universe. It's not to go there. The purpose is to find a different way every time to find itself and to understand a different perspective of itself. This is not the purpose. The purpose is not to go to the core. The purpose is to move forward, to see another way of myself. So, in order to do that, I need something to push me to do that. So, the opposite of it in the mirror, the mirror image, will help me to understand that I, as a being, need a negative force that pushed me so I could find my purpose. That's why we usually find our purpose in life through crises. Crisis. Normally, you don't discover yourself when everything is fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have to figure out. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Normally is when the universe hits you.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you say, "Oh, I understand now."
Mm-hmm.
But that's because you have the positive and the negative all the time. This is the mission. The mission is to move forward. Where? Here. The positive. So, as much I get to the positive, the hardest is the negative. Why? Because the universe is balanced. It's balanced in the middle. So this we call light, normally. We used to call it light, and this the dark. I'm not talking about good and bad. Yeah? I'm talking about light and dark. The matter and antimatter. Yeah? So these two concepts of matter and antimatter made me believe, or made me think, that matter and light and the sun is the only truth I have to follow. So that's why we look for the truth, the information, because there is where I find the clue of everything. But when I reach the light, suddenly something pulls me back. Like a kind of depression, a crisis of the being that pulls me towards the dark. And why is that? Because if I am not here in the center, in the balance, what happens is that I lose the meaning of everything. So that's why we need both of them to create the balance in the universe. Because this one, the negative, is the one that will create the realities in order to help you to find the light. That's how the darkness and all the evil is precisely the clue of why you have discovered your purpose to heal the darkness. Mm-hmm. You understand that? You say, I have come to change the world, to make peace, for example. Why do we need peace? Because there is war, isn't it? So you would ever know the concept of peace without the concept of war. Yeah? So the mission is the war, and the purpose is the peace. But peace doesn't have any meaning without the war. So you usually need these two concepts of duality to move forward. You need an evil concept to create a good concept all the time. That's why the darkness is the one that creates the reality, so we can experience the different ways to light. So when we embrace darkness as a bad brother, yeah, that brother that you want to hit, yeah, the one that makes your life impossible, yeah, someone in the family, think about it. So you will find out that that's the darkness helping you to find your own peace inside, patience, and all these concepts that you want to love, unconditional love, all of that. You would never experience unconditional love without hate. So that's the concept of duality. It needs to figure out what's outside in order to understand the inside. So he creates that, but it can't be done here. You need the experience. So darkness will create this concept of I will create as darkness this concept of duality in which you have to as a spirit, if we call spirit, we can call it spirit. As a spirit, you have to live many lives of dark so you can find the light. So what reality does is, in order to the spirit be aware of itself, the spirit must go to the dark and live many realities in different levels of vibration, and then find itself again. This path of understanding the self is that every being of light is high vibration being, yeah, a high vibrational being that in other concept we call future. the high vibration in the universe is what we used to call future. Everything that is vibrating in a very high level of vibration in the universe is living in the future. Everything that is low vibration is living in the past. Because the ray of light doesn't go fast, it goes slow. So it makes the appearance of everything going really slow, and that makes the sense of past. Because all the matter is like stuck in a concept. So as faster it moves, it goes to the future. So that's why the spirits and the consciousness is always in the future. It's in the high vibration. But if you are living in the future with a high vibration, you are not able to understand the parts. You won't be able to understand every part of the reality. If you have the whole information of the whole universe and you feel everything, you're not going to be able to see or experience every part, because you are so fast that every time you want to see just one reality, you just pass thousands of times through that. So you're not able to see it. That's why also we can explain in this way. Beings in a higher level of consciousness, like angels, like other beings, like gods, or whatever you want to call it, they don't used to see us. We believe they can see us with our form, but they see only electrons moving, atoms moving all the time, doing light. Yeah, they just can see our electrons, protons, and neutrons. They don't see people. Yeah, we see people because we vibrate so low that we can see the movement like this. So it is so slow that we see the shapes. But as higher the frequency, the light starts to appear, and you can see only electrons, protons, and neutrons.
It's still vibration.
Vibration. Huh?
It is still vibration.
It's different vibration.
Yeah, but they see our vibration.
I see what?
So the higher vibrational beings,
Yeah,
they see our vibration, not our body.
exactly. They don't see the body, they see the vibration.
The vibration.
Exactly, and colors and all that.
Yeah.
But that's it. So, in order to a high consciousness being to understand reality and to live every part of it, has to lower its vibration. So, go slower. So, the only way you can go slower is facing the dark. So you have to go to the dark to understand every part of yourself. So that's why the high vibrational beings must be born. Being born is something that helps beings to experience step by step every reality. And that's why we also forget when we are born. We forget everything because in every life we have the opportunity of vibrate in just one reality, and we can see only one reality, and that helps us to learn something from that. So it's natural that we have to forget everything, because otherwise we cannot see just one spot. We cannot focus. Yeah. So we need to lower our vibration. Yeah. So when we lower our vibration, we start to look for this sense of level of vibration, like if it is like a wave moving, and we need to find the perfect vibration, which is coherence. Coherence is to find like the best way to vibrate, which we call the present. The present is a very harmonic vibration. But the problem is that we think we live in the present when we don't. We just believe, it's a feeling, it's a sensation that we are in the present, but we are never in the present. Why we are never in the present? Because we always relate everything that is happening with something from the past, or with the idea we have in the future. we have an expectation of something in the future, so we are living too fast or too slow if we are thinking about stuff that happened in the past. It's difficult to live completely in the present, because the present is to be in harmony between the future and the past. So when you reach the balance in between your past and the idea you have from the future, you are living in the present. So all this process of recognizing the present is like, again, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative way of moving. So what is that? That in order to live in harmony, you don't have to fight to be always fine. What you have to do is to flow through the sad and happiness, sadness and happiness, sadness and happiness. When you find the harmony in that, is when you allow yourself to be sad and allow yourself to be happy. When you are trying to be happy all the time, so that's seen like this. But nothing just go up. In the universe, everything is like waves. So if you go up, suddenly will happen this. And we call it depression. Yeah? So depression brings you to another deep concept of reality, that it will be harder to go up again. So that's why in every life, in every reality, we will try to find the harmony. So maybe we can find it in just 2 lives or 3 lives, or maybe we need 1,000 lives to find the harmony. So no rush. Plenty time, because the universe doesn't have time, so whatever. So you can live just 1 life, or you can live thousands of times. So the only purpose of the universe is to live in balance. So, and to evolve, not to be always the same. And imagine what happened. Remember that the universe is a kid trying to find itself and trying to figure out what he can do in the universe. So if you just live 1 life, everything goes fine, and then you get enlightenment again, it would be very boring until everyone finished the game. Yeah, because you just got it. You just got enlightenment, and what's next? Yeah. So the whole process of the universe will be try to find out different ways of doing it. So this process here we call the 3rd dimension. This is the 1st dimension, where everything is in the same spot. This we call the 2nd dimension, where everything is projected in the opposite. Then we call the 3rd dimension the process in which we will understand ourselves, yeah, and we will find ourselves in the experimentation. And then we have to integrate the duality in the experimentation. That is being born. So how do we do that? We have to connect all the spots. So this is the 3rd dimension, living in duality, creating a new reality, a new one. This is this here, duality plus unity plus duality plus the experimentation is the first key. So the first key is you have always to find yourself during the process of experimentation. We call that the fourth process. This process of beginning we call the expression of the universe. The universe expresses itself. When the universe expresses itself, then has to experiment itself, then integrates the self, and then transcend the universe. This is the 4 steps of every process in the whole universe. The universe expresses something, experiment something, integrate that experimentation, and then transcend that integration. That's what it integrates. This is the clue to understand that everything is endless, that nothing has an end, that everything is a process, and everything goes once and again to the expression, once and again. We call this also born, grow, reproduce, and die. So then when you die, you're born again, you grow up again, you reproduce, you die. And the cycle repeats in every reality of every part of the universe. So, you understand which shape is this one? Is the tetrahedron. Yeah? Tetrahedron is the basement of everything. Is the base of creation. Is the process itself of everything that is created. We call this also the 4th dimension. We have spoken here about the first dimension, which is the self, everything together. Then you have the second dimension, which is duality, so it's the generation of energy. Then you have the third dimension, which is space. Where are you going to experience everything? And then you have the 4th dimension, which is the process of everything. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So this is the self projecting itself outside to see what it's capable of. In the 3rd dimension, it will experience everything, and the only way it can experience this is through a process of experimentation. So this process is the 4th dimension, which creates the tetrahedron. The concepts that create the tetrahedron are vibration, energy, and matter. Also, we can call it this sound, light, and geometry. Yeah? Or also, talking spiritually, spirit, soul, body. Yeah? So, this is the Holy Trinity that some people talk about. Yeah? The Father, the Mother, and the Son. That's the Holy Trinity.
This is the Father, God the Father,
God.
Son the Jesus Christ,
And then the Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit.
Yeah, that's because it was patriarchal civilization that invented that. Before it used to say Mother, Father, and Son. That was the concept. The Father was the vibration, the Mother was the energy, and the Son was the matter. But during the Christianity, they took power to women because women were so powerful that they could control the whole system. So they took the power in holy to women, and they give all the power to men, so they could control everything. So, but they miss the women. The only way you can create life is through women. So the universe is female, is not male. So, so this is a womb. It's not a dick. Sorry. Well, just to talk clearer.
Understood.
Yeah, understood. Okay, that we call that the matrix. Yeah, the matrix is the net where everything is created, and matrix is the Latin word for uterus. Yeah, so everything is matrix. So matrix, matrix, in Spanish is matriz. is uterus.
Matriarchal, matriarchal.
Matrix, matter. Mother.
Matter, matriarchal.
Exactly. Yeah, matriarchal. So the universe is a mother creating sons all the time. So this concept, we will have it in the fourth dimension in this way. Okay. So so then after that, when we have vibration, energy, and matter, the consciousness start to create the concepts to give meaning to this creation. And the concept to give meaning will be the other dimensions here. It will be the fifth dimension, the sixth dimension, the seventh dimension, and the eighth dimension. Yeah? How do we do that? Well, we have to create new concepts, but in the opposite way. So we have to connect this, this, and this. Okay? These concepts will be called oh,
Did we not open a red one?
you didn't open.
You need to use the
It
seat.
was open. I will use the blue ones. Are called like this. Wisdom, this side will, and this side love.
Just open the red one, please.
Okay, so these other concepts will create the other pattern. So will, wisdom, and love will create the other part of the reality. So it's another tetrahedron. Okay? This the other tetrahedron upside down. One will be in negative, one will be in positive. So this one here will start to vibrate in positive energy, and the other one in negative energy. Okay? So these two vibrations start to create the core of reality. Yeah? And the center of it will be the meaning of everything. The corpus, the heart. Yeah? So this is the main structure and the key of all the universe. You have it here. Many religions through history drew that symbol to understand the key, and we have it everywhere. But we can understand that it's not religion, that it's something else. So this symbol here, what it does is to create the concept of the whole reality, which are the 8 dimensions of the being. The being itself recognizes, expresses itself, and then experience through a process of time. Then it realizes about itself in the 5th dimension, so it becomes a master. This is the dimension of Dharma. This is the dimension of self-awareness. So then, when you realize who you are, in the 6th dimension, you are able to transform reality. You are an alchemist. You are able to transform whatever you want. The matter is just a game. The 7th dimension is when you can feel everything. Every dimension you can feel it. Yesterday I was saying that the 7th dimension is like the place where you can feel the whole reality, and you can feel every emotion in just one spot. So it's like living in a constant orgasm. Yeah? And that's the 7th dimension. It's a good, when you achieve that, you will like it. So, and the 8th dimension is with the shape of a torus. Yeah? The shape of a torus, which is like an apple. Yeah? The shape of an apple. So it means the net of the whole information of every process that we are living in the universe. So this is what connects us with Buckminster Fuller information, which is the tetrahedron is the base of the whole creation, but it has a meaning behind it. The meaning is the concept of vibration in the first dimension, the energy, the matter, connecting to the process of being born as a being. Here we have the concept of the being. So every being in the universe must have these three concepts aligned to become a being. Spirit, which is the mind, soul, which is the emotion, and matter, the body, which is the structure, yeah, must be aligned in coherence so we could create a being, a concept of a new existence. So that's the tetrahedron and the structure of the process of creation. So once you have a being, this being has to achieve the three aspects of creation, which is achieve wisdom, will, and love. Everyone, not only humans, also the plants. The trees must go through that. The trees has the will to look for light, the wisdom because they produce their own knowledge and their own medicine, and the love because they give air without charging it. Yeah?
Nice.
They are unconditional with everyone. So they are learning this, but they express this. We are the ones learning this because they know how to do it. Trees know how to do it. Animals also know how to do it. But we are disconnected from the being because we are so slow in our reality that we are trying to look for the things by separate. So we love some people. We don't love everyone. We love sometimes our family. Yeah. When we are in love with someone, we express love. We love our dog, cat, but not much some people. So we usually don't love everyone. So we are learning how to love. But the curious thing about this is that love is not loving each other as we believe. Love is to realize that we are all connected through the force of the eternal transformation. Love means eternity. When we say God is love, it means creation is eternal. It's not something that, love is not something that we have to feel for others. It's something scientific. It's gravity, as he said once, metaphysical gravity. Is something that remember us, that we are all connected to just one spot. So we inevitably will go to the same spot. Doesn't matter which path we take. Muslim, Hinduism, Buddhism, Christian, this is the spot. Doesn't matter where you go. You will find the same. So love is the one that teaches you acceptance. So everything goes to the same core. Wisdom is when you forget everything you know to realize who you really are. Wisdom is the opposite of knowledge. Knowledge is the accumulation of data. Wisdom is the void in which you can have any information without knowing it. Yeah? That's wisdom. So, so in order to achieve wisdom, we have to forget who we think we are to be who we really are. And that's a real tough concept. But we will work on that. And will is to know that anything will happen, anything in the universe will happen just because someone else is creating it for us. Every creation is a creation done by our own mind. So if we don't take part on the creation of reality, nothing will happen. Nothing new will happen. So everything will be repeated from the first time we create our reality. So will is to know that we are the ones that have the information and the strength and the energy to transform reality. That there is no God that have any decisions above us. That we are a part of God trying to transform reality. So that's the will, when you take part on the creation. So when you have all this connected, when you achieve the connection of everything, you will find the ninth dimension. The ninth dimension is the core when you achieve everything. So you become a new creator. This concept of creation is called the cube of reality. Yeah? The cube of every reality. You see that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you see the cube, you will find out that that now you have 4 dimensions above, 4 dimensions below, and 1 in the core that connects them all. Yeah? And when you find this connection in between the 4 above and the 4 below, with 1 spot in the middle, you will find out that if you connect the 1 spot in the middle with the others, you will find 2 pyramids. 1 pyramid facing up, and 1 pyramid facing. Yeah. So these 2 structures, yeah, these 2 structures open the torus around, bringing all the positive energy to the ground and going back to the core, which is the heart. This concept of creation makes like a spiral of energy to the core and then to the other side down. Do you see it?
Mm.
Yeah? Going like this to the core and by the other side around. What does this? This is a multi-dimensional being. Yeah? Multidimensional being means that a self, a being, can be in the 9 dimensions at the same time. But that being that can be in every dimension at the same time cannot experience each one of them until it divides itself to experience every dimension by separate. So that's why these spirals, like this, creates the spiral of the north that we call time, and the spiral of the south that we call space. So this is the first time that exists the concept of time and space. Time and space are not real, are just a perception of these 9 dimensions. It's just a way in which the being can move through the realities looking for an order. Yeah? So if we have this here, the concept of time, what we will see that this being that is realizing that it is in 9 dimensions at the same time will have to live the process of expression, experimentation, integration, and transcendence many times. Once he makes the circle, and when it accomplishes the circle in a proper way, it jumps to another level of consciousness. And it jumps to another level of consciousness. So that's a spiral. But if you don't achieve that, you will see only the 2nd dimension, which is a circle. Yeah? If you turn this like this, you will see this. Okay? So when you see this, you will think that you are in a closed circle, like if you are trapped in between lives. That's what we call karma. Yeah? Karma is the concept of going back and again, until you change your perspective and realize that there's no circle, there's a spiral. And you can go in many, many, many different timelines, in many different bodies. Yeah? The vibration from the high vibration of the body to the lowest. So this separation creates like wheels that, like wheels and engines that push you towards another vibration higher and higher and then lower and lower. This vibration starts to separate from each other from the being to push you up and then to go down again. This is what we call the first one, the heart. And when the time starts to open the flower of time, it creates the throat chakra. And then the third eye chakra. And then the crown chakra. And the crown chakra opens and gives the seed to the root chakra. And from the root chakra to the creation of the sacrum, and then the plexus, and go back to the heart. Yeah? And the cycle repeats once and again, once and again, once and again, constantly. And it starts to divide. So what we have now here is a being that divided itself in many levels of consciousness, so it, in just one life, can experience the 9 dimensions. So every one of us is the product of this cube that we have around. So it's geometrical. The concept of the universe is geometry. It's just a concept of points and measurement of lines and dots, yeah? But the key is these words here. So every being, to understand and to open the 2 keys, yeah? There's 2 keys. One that turns right and one that turns left. One is vibration, energy, and matter. And the other one is will, love, and wisdom. Yeah? When you have them both, and you find the keys, and you turn the keys, you open the box. And when you open the box, you find the 9th dimension, which is inside here. Oh, I broke it. The 9th dimension here, which is the dimension of everything, where God transcends itself. So, why God transcends itself? Because it seems to be the last thing we have to see. Because when everyone realizes that you are part of God, or the goddess, whatever you want to call it, or the universe, you realize you are a creator. And if you are a creator, you start again everything. That's why it's endless. Because you leave every possibility of yourself until you realize that you are also the universe. So you will say, now I want to create, yeah, because I couldn't do it before. So now I want to create my own universe. How do I create my own universe? Well, just from this box of 2 tetrahedrons, I just have to step aside and create a new one. So that's why we go to this spot here and we create our own universe. And when we do that, we start to create the whole pattern again. And that's what we call the flower of life. Yeah? The concept of flower of life, when everything starts to repeat again. And every being, yeah? And this is the network. Yeah? So I was talking about Atlantis. The Atlantean people realized that this process was inside of each one of us. That once you realize that you are vibration, that you are matter, that you are energy, and you handle that. You handle your mind, which is the vibration. You handle the emotions, which is the energy. And you handle your body, which is the matter. And you unify the concepts of your will, your love, and your wisdom in just one being. You open the portal to the self to create new realities and to connect to the whole truth. But then you realize that there's many truths and many realities. So how do I get to the main core of the universe? So then they realized that each human is just one tiny spot in the planet. So every human is like a neuron in this planet. And this planet is also like a box. Because if you connect the dots, thousands of times, thousands of experience, you will have a sphere, an imperfect sphere, because it starts to move once and again, many cubes all around, and as many you have, you will have this shape that is creating new shapes of geometry, that is start to divide the triangles all around and creating what? The shape of a dome. Yeah? The shape of the dodecahedron. Yeah? Which is the main shape of reality of a sphere. So when it starts to be created, the sphere, the Atlantean people realized that not only they could achieve as individuals the truth, but if they go to the world and find these spots in the whole planet, they will not only achieve their own knowledge, but also they will be able to download the information from the mind of the planet. You understand? So it's like having my own Wi-Fi, and then you realize that internet is all around. And you say, oh, I am using just one device when I can use every device at the same moment. So what would happen if I open the portals to that reality? So what they did was to create a civilization which were looking for those spots all around the world, and to look for every portal through where you can go to the core of reality. So the inner world. So they figure out that you have 32 spots through where you can do it. 32 spots that are moving because of other spots. The geomagnetical north and south pole. When they move, this network of information moves too, starts to move around. So they were looking for the North Pole, and according to that, they were tracing the whole lines of the planet. So they knew where to build the buildings to download the information. And how do you build a building to download that information? Well, it should be like this. So it has to have the shape of a pyramid. The pyramids are not like this. They are spheres. They have the shape of a sphere, but in the third dimension, you can see a pyramid. Yeah? So they build pyramids because they are creating these powerful spheres of many tetrahedrons that concentrate the information in one spot on the top, and allows the people going inside to download information from the whole network of the planet. So they looked for these spots, and they were trying to find out if every one of these crosses of information, they found out that each one of them is connected to the core. So they started to build temples and pyramids in each one of them. Yeah? to open the realities, to open the portals towards the information. So every ancient civilization was built to download information from the planetary grid, from the planetary network. They understood that the whole information from the universe was being breathed by the planet in 12 phases. These 32 places are 12 spots of the dodecahedron, the icosahedron, and the 20 spots of the dodecahedron, the nodes, the phases, and then aligned by the north magnetical pole and the south magnetical pole. So going to the core. So this process would take 33 spots in the planet. The 32 of the icododecahedron and the core in the center is the number 33. And that's why you have to go through 33 steps of enlightenment to get the truth. That's why the ancient ones use the number 33 to understand the masters. Every masters in the past lives had to go through 33 processes in their lives to enlighten and to go through that. But we all have the 33 steps. We have 33 vertebrae in our spine. The last ones are really close by, so they seem like one. But we really have 33 from here to the coccyx. So the spine is the holy path through enlightenment. Yeah. So 33 steps in which we are going to unify our space and our time in the core, which is the heart, and that comes with the information of the name of God. The name of God is, in every language you want to say it, I am. Is the only name that it has. After that, you can call it whatever you want. But the name of God is I am. Why? Because the universe wants you to say I am when you refer to God. Yeah? So you realize, you recognize that it doesn't matter where you are. When you say I am in the core of the reality, you are connected with God. So that's why we used to say in every religion, God is within you. Until you see in your mirror and you realize, oh, if it's within, it's me. Yeah. So that process was something that the ancients called the path through illumination, or like Buddha, or the path to become a god. Like some ancients built this processes like that. We see this structure here that we have in the ether, the juice. The juice has this. Hinduism too, isn't it? It has the same, yeah. Because they know this truth, yeah, but it's not complete. That's why we needed Christianism to understand another part. But the information is the halo, which is the Islam. Yeah, is the net. Yeah. So this process, you see, you have every symbol of religions is within that. It doesn't matter how do you want to explain it, you will find every symbol within. Yeah. So So you will find all the symbols within. So every religion, every concept of reality is within this symbol. So that's why every science or religion or geometry or whatever, it's heading us to the same spot. And the same spot is the creation of the being. This being is ourself, like, how is the name? Da Vinci drew it. Is a man. Yeah? The Vitruvian man is the same. So, in art too. So, it doesn't matter how you see it, you will find out that every religion, every science, every artist was heading to the self, to the core of the reality. So, the thing that the ancient civilizations like Atlantis left us was the only way you can access the information of the whole being in the universe is if you go through yourself, you aligned the three concepts of matter, of reality in space, and the three concepts in time. You align it in yourself, and when you find the core of reality, then you can go and with your key open the doors of the whole planet to receive the information from the universe. And those spots in the planet are aligned through the icosahedron, which is the shape of the map that Buckminster did to understand the world. So, this is something that we did 12,000 years ago in the planet. And 11,000 years ago, we started to forget this information because always there is a process in which, as in every day of our lives, we wake up, we have our life, and then we go to sleep for another 8 hours, and then wake up again, once and again, in 24 hours. Let's imagine that we sleep 12 hours, if we wish. 12 hours of night and 12 hours of day, for example. So if we think about that in our life, think now in terms of humanity. In terms of humanity and the history of geology, you will find that we sleep 12,000 years and we are awakened 12,000 years. Yeah, imagine 1,000 for each hour. Yeah. So each hour is like 1,000 years. So 12,000 years ago, we went to sleep, and that was the end of civilization. It's like the planet said, we don't want you anymore. So do whatever you want, I'm going to sleep. So we, humanity, are the consciousness of the planet. So the consciousness went to sleep and had this beautiful dream that became a nightmare, yeah? That we call the last 10,000 years. The last 10,000 years were a mess because we had no idea of who we were. A few people did, but the only people that knew the first idea, they become the leaders, and the leaders become religious. So the whole people start to follow that person because everyone says, oh, that knows, that one knows, so let's follow him. But he was talking, or he or she were talking about the self. So they say, I am the light, I am the path, I am God. And everyone said, okay, he must be God, he must be the light, he must be, but he was talking about I am. So I am. So we were so asleep that we were looking for guides, for masters, and looking for people outside of us to look for the information. So what happened? The 12,000 years of dreaming, are ending now. We have only 200 years more to open our eyes and clean our eyes, yeah, to wake up and to see the reality. But these next 200 years are very important because some people must prepare the breakfast. I used to say this. A lot of people is sleeping right now, and the people that is awakening and understanding this, and they start to realize that the information is not outside, it's within, and they have to awake this information within their own truth. We are the ones that have to prepare the breakfast for those who are going to wake up in 200 years. How do we prepare the breakfast? So we have to prepare ourselves to be a perfect reflection for the others that are awakening. And awakening is not living everything what we believed, is to transcend and to put in another level what we believed. It doesn't mean we have to leave our religions or our science or whatever. It means that we have to upgrade our understanding of what we are. So when we do that, we reflect into others that truth. We don't have to go and say everybody, hey, awake, yeah, because it would be like throwing a glass of water to someone that is sleeping, yeah. So everyone has its own time to awake, but how do we prepare everyone to awake? Well, the ancients said that we had to reestablish the network of knowledge of the planet again, so the information is allowed to get in again, so people could receive that information from that geometry, from that network of the planetary grid. So that's why a lot of people are working right now in trying to not only establish balance in the self, but also to go to the planet and activate the planet to open the doors through these keys. So to explain this, next year, in the next 2 years and a half, I myself will be traveling to the 33 spots of the planet. Going even in the middle of the ocean, Antarctica, everywhere, to anchor the keys of that information. But it's not only me. There are thousands of people that will work for that during the next 2 years. Because I follow a code. Everything in the universe is mathematics and codes. So next year, we have the code of time, which is February 2nd of 2020. If you see the number is February 2nd, 2020. Yeah? That gives you 4, which gives you 8. So it's the dimension of time, where the whole information is being opened. So through where it's going to be opened? The day 22 of February 2022. That day is 6/6/12. So the 12 phases of the dodecahedron, yeah, the planetary dodecahedron. So this is the information, this is the pattern of days that we are following, in which we have to go and activate the 33 levels of consciousness in the whole planet towards the heart, and create the network that I call the remembering, connecting all the parts that were separated in these 10,000 years. So this is the mission of the next 2 years. But why to do that? Because the information from the sun, from the core of the galaxy, is coming all the time to Earth. But we are so close in mind that the planet is also close to that new ideas. So all these new ideas and vibration that are flowing through the universe, through the cosmic mind, cannot access the planet properly through the network, through the two tetrahedrons of creation, they cannot access the network because we are not aligned with ourselves. So as much people is aligned with the self, the easier goes down the information. And what is this information for? This information is to create the new societies in the next 2,000 years. The next 2,000 years will be a very technological society, but if that society is not aligned with the self, technology will end up killing us. Yeah? So it will be technology anyway, the best. We can not even imagine what is going to happen in the next 1,000 years. It will be crazy. But if we are not aligned with the self, mind, emotions, and body, so technology will go faster than us and will end up killing us in such a way. So, so we have to grow up within, to transform ourselves within, in order to adapt and to evolve in this new society. So the opening of these portals is to allow this information to prepare ourselves to be more aligned in the process of the new time. This concept, I call this concept the ontocracy. We are now in the democracy. Democracy. I call this the onto. It's like this, isn't it? Ontocracy. Onto is, in Greek, means being. Being. Yeah? Means being. So it's the self. So what it means, the creation of the power of the self. So it will be a very technological society aligned with the self. There's a lot of to talk about it, but the main thing that we have to think about is not how to organize the society, is how to organize the self and the individual that is going to be in that society. Because everything will happen anyway, but it can happen through consciousness or through the unconscious. And if it happens anyway through the unconscious, so the external reality will create us. But if it happened through the conscience, so we are going to create and use the external reality that is becoming gods and goddesses. So this process of 2 years will be to open the doors so we can work on ourselves in the next years in a different way of concepts, not only spiritual but also understanding this geometry that build us and to know how to use it, so we could be self-aware about our role as humanity in the next 2,000 years. The day is starting. It will take 12,000 years to see another sunset of humanity. But we have to do our best, so the next time we can go to sleep better. Not with the chaos in our hands, in our heads. So there's too many things I could talk about, but I compress everything in this because I think you would like to talk about this. But if you have any questions of this or other things, you may do it now, if you want.
All I can say is, first of all, thank you for that presentation.
I don't know what time is it, but if you have any question about this,
We have no time.
yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
We only
Yeah.
have numbers.
I want
So,
to ask about, just now you say that every one of us are like a computer terminal. And then we are when we open to the universal, we are downloading the things every terminal. So how about if the terminal itself have virus and we download the
Virus?
Yes.
Virus? Oh, yeah, I like it. Virus.
That's my question.
Well, you know, it could happen. It could happen. Some people call the virus evil, an illness. Yeah. But we have to think about this. I think we talk about that today. Everything that we call a virus helped us to improve ourselves, because you have achieved evolution through everything that you have lived, or your past beings, your grandfather and everyone till the caves, has passed through illnesses and all this sick and viruses and bacteria and everything. Everything that you call virus and bacteria prepares you to be what you are now. So what I believe is, if we open the doors, that bacteria or that virus will only affect those that are not ready to transcend to another level of consciousness. If you prepare yourself in a different vibration, if you are ready to understand that the virus is just a system that improves your immunological system, because it won't kill you, it will make you stronger. Yeah? Or doesn't kill you, make you stronger? Yeah? That's how it works, the system. As I said, positive and negative, positive and negative. If you close yourself because you are afraid of something that is going to happen outside, it's like closing yourself in your house and never going out, never opening a window, a door, ever again, just in case a bacteria could get in. Yeah? You are not going to see any sun, any moon, any plant, anything. You are not going to be open to new things, to new information, because you are afraid of what is going to happen. So the thing is that it is going to happen anyway. Yeah? But if we are afraid of what is going to get in, it won't be like opening to transformation. It will be like fighting against something that is inevitable. Yeah? So when you open the doors and says, I'm ready to transform myself, so everything in your reality prepares you to be strong in that transformation. If you deny the inevitable transformation of the planet, so that's extinction. That every being that was extinct in the planet was because it was not able to adapt to the new vibration or the new information. Yeah? We as humans have survived. We were rats at that time, but well, some of us still. but we were the only ones adapted to that bacteria and those changes. So the planet is going to change anyway. It will change. But opening, we have more tools. Of course, it will be some darkness or bacteria getting in. But it's like opening the door and a moth or a spider getting in. It will do something. Like a spider will eat the moth. So we don't have to be afraid of what could happen. Yeah? Because everything that is going to happen in a bad way is because we are afraid. Because, as I said before, everything in the universe is created by vibration. So this is what happened. When you have a vibration, a stable vibration, which is harmonious on the process. So you will have positive and negative experience, of course, all the time. Dark and light, all the time, yeah? But in a harmony way. But if you vibrate very low, yeah, every reality that you will see, it will be in that low vibration. That's why normally the people that suffer, yeah, is the people that lives the worst thing in their lives. Because they are always thinking about how they suffer, how they are having this bargain in their lives. You know, they talking past.
Fear has a different vibration.
Yeah, it's fear.
Fear is a different vibration. Like it's like what you resist persists.
Yeah,
So if you're fearful, you vibrate lower
exactly.
in a way. But if you're open and you have, as you said, the will,
Yeah,
and you start gaining the wisdom, then your vibration is going to be at a higher state, higher vibration.
yeah,
So then you download. You get the download in a way.
exactly. You will download what you are capable to download
Yeah. But if you fear,
according to vibration.
you're not going to download.
No. If you fear, it's like you see everything like distortion.
What do you do then?
Huh?
You circle.
Exactly. You will be in this.
Yeah.
So you will be repeating the same cycle all the time. So that's why our work here is to be in harmony, so we could see harmony. Because you have to see it like this. If you see all your reality in such a high vibration, you will see only future, but you're not going to be able to ground anything that you are thinking. If you are in a low vibration, you will see only the things that are in the ground. So snakes, insects, all the dark things, the roots. So you will be in the past, in the dark, in the hidden things. Yeah? So that's why fear, anger brings you to see only that reality. So everything that you are going to live, or you are going to see in your life, or receive as information in your life, will be through the vibration you are. So if you are in the vibration of the heart, everything that you will receive is from the heart too. You understand? So it doesn't matter which door you open. If you open the door with fear, something will happen. If you just open the door and go away, yeah, everything will move so you can go. Yeah, that's the way you have to see it. Yeah.
How do you explain death?
Death?
Because, because you talk about opposites.
Yeah.
There is life, there will be death. In order to appreciate life, there must be death.
Exactly.
So can you explain?
Yeah, death for us is the transcendence of the process. Death is the freedom of the self, but not the self, the being, the self of the ego. So when you are a spirit, enlightened being, and you want to experience a reality, what you have to do is to get into a body, to be born. So you die in another level of consciousness. You are dying in another level. You are being born in this level of consciousness. So when you are born here, you design the self that will help you to accomplish your mission or your learnings or your teachings in this life. But it's not you. I used to explain this. You live here, but you know you have to do a trip to Patagonia, for example, South Argentina. Here is hot, but there it's really cold. So if you will go there, you for sure will need coats and boots and something to heat you. So personality and body is this dress you use to go to a different environment. Yeah? So once you get out of that environment, if you come here with all these boots and all this, you will die because of the heart. Yeah? So you need to leave it away. You need to let it go. Yeah? In order to live properly in this new reality. So death is the freedom from the coach. Yeah? Is the freedom from the tool. Is when you realize that you had accomplished your mission and your purpose in this other place, in this trip you had, and now you have to follow the life with another meaning, another process. So death from the side of the life is the end of a process. For the eyes of the being is the beginning of another one.
Mm-hmm.
Is being born again. Some spirits say, when they can remember, that death is the same feeling like being born. Because you release from the pressure to something that is open. So that's why they used to say, try to die laughing. Because everything that is going to happen after that, it will be according to the level of vibration you have at the moment you die. So if you are very low vibration, worried, what is going to happen? Oh, I don't want to die. So what happens next is that everything you see is, oh, I don't want to die, oh, die. And so you become a ghost. Yeah, you want to do everything again. But if you laugh, if you say, oh, I'm open to what is going to happen next. You know, I will meet new people, new places. You know, it will be like a big holiday. So if you think like that, suddenly you will see amazing things. Because everything that happens next is according to the level of vibration and your thinking in that moment. So it's like being born again. Yeah, you don't have to fear death. It's a good experience. Yeah.
May I ask you about spirit?
Which ones?
What do you mean? Like,
Spirits? No, I'm not talking about ghosts. There's a difference between when I say spirit than ghost. I used to say spirit. Spirit is the higher self. Yeah, which is in a higher level of awareness of yourself. Then you have ghosts, which are souls, not spirits. Are souls that are lost because they believe they are still alive. So they are around all the time, here, in the fourth dimension. There used to be plenty of them. A lot of people walking around. They still believing they are alive.
So, can I ask?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to ask you, how do you remember who you were in the past life? Is there a technique to do that, or?
No, it just happened.
So,
Yeah.
what were you in your? You said you remember, right?
Yeah.
So what were you in your?
Who I was? Well, I used to be many things, but in the life I learned most of the things. I was a woman. Women were in charge at that moment. There was a matriarchy, so we are the ones able to reach this knowledge. Men helped at that time. So it was like equally civilization. So I was women in charge of a region close by the Nile.
Was it a dream or how?
No, it was maybe I was sitting in school, mathematics, whatever, and suddenly it was like
Vision?
a headache and like a vacuum spot, and suddenly it was like an opening like this through the eye, and a feeling, and by the emotion it was like an archive opening, with a lot of information. it's like if you are trying to remember what you did last year, you won't have the whole information, the whole picture. You will only remember what you have seen, and you don't have everything, but you kind of know. It's weird, but it's kind of like that. Yeah. Well, it just happened because I was supposed to remember in this life, so that's why I remember. But we all are going to. We are. The humanity is going to remember. I'm not the only one. There are thousands of people that is remembering right now, because the planet is trying to remember who she is. So that's why we start to remember. It's not because a human thing. It's because the planet is starting to remember. Yeah.
Do you see in every moment of your life the vibration and the aura from other people and animals and whatever?
I did when I was teenager.
Sorry?
I did when I was a teenager.
Okay, and now?
I decided not to see anymore.
Okay, it's
Because it was
too
like,
much? Too much?
Yeah, because the space is full.
Okay.
Full of everything. So it can confuse you. So in order to explain this and to focus on what I am explaining, if I see all your family, all the beings that are here, the angel that is in the corner, and everyone, someone talking, hey, can you tell this? It's like a mess, and all the lights, and I can see it. No.
And if you want to do this, is it you can do it now, or you have a special technique?
No, not
No?
a technique, but I will need the time. Because
Okay,
I'm not used
I
to now.
understand, yeah.
Sometimes when I'm working on the enlightenment in some places, it opens and then suddenly feels, see and everything. But then it shuts down because it's
Yeah.
Too much.
too much.
Too much, yeah.
Yeah, the people that used to see all the time, all the information that happens, can be really difficult. Yeah, that's why we forget
Yeah.
until we can handle it. We go step by step. Yep. Step by step. So, okay.
One last question. I'm curious what you do when you meditate.
I don't meditate, I walk. I usually, I don't sit. I just try to go and touch things and my guides from other dimension taught me how to wait out the mind, like nothing,
Erase. Yeah.
void. So it doesn't matter the moment. It's just a breathing, and everything goes away, and suddenly it's like that's it, and that's the moment of clarity. So there's a lot of techniques, of course. Every religion has its own technique, yeah, to get the meditation. I use them sometimes, but then I realized that it was just here. So if you just do this, and nothing comes there, and so you have clarity. So I don't use to meditate. I just walk nature, touch trees, and that allows the clarity. Yeah, different ways.
Thank you, Mr. Matias.
Thank you.
Kabaddi, the guy who wants to give a small momentum.
What?
Small momentum
Oh,
for you. It's a big shit.
oh, thank you.
For the arena, I would like to introduce the gentleman who sponsor Mr. Matias. The gentleman is Mr. Daniel Chagro.
Hello.
He is the only sponsor.
Actually, I want to thank my sister and my wife for our foundation that sponsored Matias to come here. I'm old friends with Datu, and I could see the combination of Buckminster Fuller and what Matias has to offer. And I wanted to bring that together at the top of Penang Hill. We all wanted to do it. My sister, my wife, and myself. And Matias was eager to do it. And we're so happy that he was able to come.
I'm blessed to be here.
Okay, I think time is up for our dinner.